Hi friends, this is the Be Real Babe podcast, a place where your average Canadian wolfpack come together to talk about life stresses, messes, and successes. A safe space where being yourself is the ultimate goal. Each week we will bring you new episodes sharing our opinions on a ton of different topics in hopes we can get a better understanding of ourselves, each other, and this crazy world we live in. We want to build a community where we can show up as ourselves, be real, and lay it all out there. By sharing our opinions and experiences, we hope to reach others who can relate so we can all help each other learn, grow, and heal. But please keep in mind, as a disclaimer, none of us here are professionals, no one is giving any advice. We are strictly speaking of our life experiences, our opinions, and for entertainment purposes only. Now, with that being said, it's time. So grab your drink, grab your joint, and let's jump right in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Be Real Babe podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. We hope that you have a good time. And if you're a returning listener, watcher, supporter, thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for coming back time and time again. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy, and I am the host of the show. And today, you guys, we're on episode 148, Keeping Up with Canada, Part 1. Hey, for all our Canadians, and for those that are outside Canada, just want to know what's going on. Episode is for you. So every month, you guys, we talked about how we were going to do a segment called Keeping Up with Canada, kind of like a play on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, about stuff in Canada that we think that you guys should know about or that we want to learn more about, possibly bills that are coming out that have been a little misconstrued, or, where are we, with the world, with the fires, where are we at with elections, where can we get involved? How can we help? How can we save our country? How can we learn more and do it in a way that's like fun with your girlfriends, bitches that don't really know what they're talking about, is a good place to be. So in this episode, you guys, in this specific one, in part 1, we're going to be talking about 2 very controversial bills that came through in Canada or that have been going on, and how does that affect us, like Bill C-18, and then on top of that is Bill C-47 when we're talking about supplements, before we're talking about censorship and the supplements, and what does that actually mean? A lot of the time out there on both sides of the spectrum, even in the middle, people are always going to have a bias when they're bringing this stuff up. People get very emotional, especially over the last couple of years. Totally understandable. But are we maybe getting a little bit emotional about stuff that actually isn't true? And are we jumping the gun on getting upset? Or are some of these things maybe good for us? I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying, let's talk about it, because there's a lot of bias out there and we kind of want to play with both sides here, right? You guys know us. So we're going to talk about those 2 bills. We're going to talk about elections. What upcoming elections are there in your municipality, in your provincially and federally, and when do those happen? I know a lot of people will agree that the system is broken, and the only way I know how to fix it is to get involved and to be involved and to stay involved and to spread the word and literally get involved by going to the polls and working there, getting in local government, getting in boards, So we're going to explore that this season. How can we get involved and save our beautiful country? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about and the wildfires in Canada and what that kind of looks and how things are kind of going this year so far with that. But before we get on to the show, you guys, I just want to remind you, if you are listening on YouTube, because we're back on YouTube, we were striked out for a little bit there, so we're back on YouTube. So hopefully you can see us there. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and leave a comment if you can, as well as on Rumble. And if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, you can also give us some star reviews. I see you guys have left us some there. That absolutely means everything to us, you guys. Every time I see there's another 5-star, it just takes 2 seconds on Apple or Spotify. Just got to go follow us, and then you can hit those stars. Send us a message on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and our Pinterest is starting to get lit again now that we're back up there. So hit us up on any of those platforms if you would like to be a part of one of our shows. If you have any comments, questions, you want to learn, you want to teach us, you want to be a part of it, we would love to have you. But it is time for me to shut the fuck up and get on to the good part of the show so we can see what is going on in this country. If you are not interested in knowing what's going on with Canada, I totally understand. We'll see you in the next episode. If not, let's get on, see what's going on in Canada, eh? All right, babes, it's time to get on to the show. And today I have my beautiful co-host, Hales. Hey, babe, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Happy almost fall, winter, and depression time. Just kidding.
Jesus.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm really trying not to be that person.
It's where it kicks in, but I'm kind of partial to the fall because my birthday's in fall, so.
Yes, that's fair. I mean, my birthday's and I love Christmas, and I love Halloween. I love freaking bats.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving
all
is
the
all
good
good.
ones.
all the good ones. It's true. There's just something, I think what it is just knowing it's not the first 3 months. It's
It's the
the
snow. It's the winter of it.
exactly. It is. It's like the January, February, March where you're just like at that whole like if the
Yeah.
world's gonna end, it's in this time frame.
And we're definitely blessed with one of the harsher
Yeah.
winters in the world, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes, yes,
We're
especially in
known
Alberta,
for it, so
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I remember coming home one time from Christmas and when we were in Grand Prairie and we literally had to shovel ourselves into our house because there was like 4 feet of snow. We were gone for like a week at Christmas. It was literally and
yeah.
I was like, "Why the fuck do I live here?
My
I do
mom
not
tells
understand."
stories of her and my uncle and aunt like jumping off their roof into snowbanks in front of their
Oh my
house because
gosh,
it was just
yes.
so high. And like, yeah, we
As a kid, it's great.
Canada in general gets a pretty rough one. You guys in BC are
We do.
little milder
A little
than
bit
the rest
milder
of
for
us,
sure.
but
Yeah.
yeah, we get
You get hit
proper
hard.
winter.
Hard. The
When
one
I
thing
hear
I will
people
say,
complaining
go
about
ahead.
snow in other places, it's like,
I know. I
nice
know, and
try.
I'm the one that bitches too, but it's like I think there's just 2 differences. Like I love the snow when it's the dry snow. Like if I had to pick between
Yeah,
the
wet
2,
snow
I
is.
would I would pick Alberta snow because it's dry. Like don't get me wrong, the minus weather's insane, but at least you can like fluff it off and you're not sitting soggy
Yeah,
in it. I feel like in BC once you get wet, it doesn't matter if
yeah.
it's like 3 degrees. It feels like minus 20. It's
It
such a
hits you
weird
to the
thing.
bone. It's such a
Yes.
different cold. But we do get wet here occasionally, but
You
you're right.
do.
Ours
Yeah.
is quite often it's that dry,
Yeah.
fluffy. But then I also like everything's dry. Like my nose
Oh, that's
dries right
true.
out. My
Yep.
skin becomes just like haggard sadness. Like, help
Yep.
me.
Oh, it's like, "Give
I
me some
can't
sunshine."
breathe. Yeah, like God. And the worst part is
Get
people are
some
like,
vitamin
just you gotta
D.
go outside and get vitamin D in the winter too. It's like, bitch, you do it. You
At
try and go
-40?
outside
No.
and get
No.
vitamin D in this
No.
bullshit. Like there ain't it's not happening. I'm
No.
sorry. Like
Your
it's
lungs
just
freeze.
it's
Your
so
lungs
hard.
freeze up. It's
Yeah.
bullshit. I
Oh,
remember
it's
when my hair
rough.
froze for the first time, I was like, "This is an actual
Crack it.
thing?" Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I did not believe that was a thing. I was like, "Well, Alberta is teaching me a lot." But yeah,
I always
I
felt bad for
hate
guys
it
with
too.
mustaches and beards and
Yes.
like just the icicles that hang off them.
Especially if your snot's running and it's just like running like snotsicles. This is so gross. And
Sexy.
you all know what I'm talking about. Don't
Yeah.
even deny it.
That's
But
sexy.
anyways, guys, the beauties of because we have people all
Right.
over the world that listens, right? So now you guys get to hear. We don't live in igloos. We live in real houses, and
Houses,
sometimes, okay,
but
I didn't have to. Yeah, and on occasion we have to dig ourselves
it is
into our
still
house, not
bullshit.
yeah, not into our igloo homes. Not there's anything wrong with that. I'm just a bitch and I have bad circulation, so I don't think I can handle anything colder than what I'm at right now. But welcome, guys, to our first episode talking about what random things that are happening in Canada. Now, obviously, we know as social media is getting a big hit, and we'll talk about that shortly later in the show with censorship. We also think it's really important that we talk about shit that actually is going on in our country because a lot of people, like we're just really not
Mhm,
in tune to it for quite a few years and then we were forced into it and now it's like okay, what do we do with this? Like, how do we make some
mhm.
changes? How do we do things? So, we wanted to keep this segment about shit that's going on in Canada. So, sorry if you don't care about that, but we're going to talk about our country.
I was gonna
Uh,
say, ironically, as someone who does not watch the news, it is still
mhm,
important to get
mhm.
um
Information.
just information and
Yep.
just proper information.
Yes, and like from our point of view, and we'll always tell you guys, go, this is our interpretation, what we think about certain things or like real facts, and we want you guys to go and look. But I think the most thing is being informed. Like up until a couple years ago, I didn't really know when elections were. I didn't really care about that, and a lot of people can argue that it doesn't matter, and it's never going to matter because there's 2 sides to the same bird. And while I can
Yeah.
agree, until someone comes up with a better solution, I'm really not sure what else we're supposed to do. And I think slowly getting involved and everyone getting in there and infiltrating it with better people, like maybe that's the way that we do it, right?
I
And
think
at
that's
least
the
by
part that needs
voting.
to be stressed hard is
Mhm.
while
Getting involved.
I am kind of on the side of like at this point, especially the people that are already in place, you're voting for it's the lesser of two evils. They're both shit,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But what we need
Agreed.
to start doing is infiltrating at
Mhm.
local levels, start small, and
Yeah.
start putting in people that are trustworthy, that are not woke as hell, that
Yes.
are just real people
Based.
that want proper, like, helpful and like purposeful
Yes.
changes,
Yes. And
like
meanwhile
it's
being progressive too, right? Like
yeah.
I've never been against progression. There's just got to be
No, there's
limits, right? There's
And
got
I
to
shouldn't even
be
say
checks
woke.
and
Like there's place for
balances.
everyone, but
Yeah.
it's the checks and balances. Like you can't have like an entire board of people with the
Yeah.
same opinion in my
No.
eyes. That's just not how
Absolutely.
it works. You need
Yeah.
a varying board of perspectives. You can't just
Yes.
have all the same. So yeah,
No.
it
And you
starts
have
with the small, and we need to start, yeah,
the local
giving a
level.
shit.
Yeah, and I feel too
Yeah.
like if you're not a person that could sit beside the opposition and have a respectful conversation and be open
Hmm.
to being wrong or compromised, then you shouldn't be in it either, right? And so I think that there's a certain part it's like you could be great, you could have good
Yeah.
opinions, but if you're not going to sit down and play nice with the kids, we're not going to fucking get anywhere. You know what
It's
I'm saying?
similar to your work,
Yes,
like the work dynamic. You don't have to
exactly.
like everyone you work with, but you have
Mm,
to be able to work respectfully and
yes,
professionally with them.
yes,
And you don't necessarily like, there's a difference between having like full out respect for someone and
yeah,
respecting the fact that they also are entitled to their opinion. You may not like
yes.
it, and that doesn't matter because they might not like yours, but they're still allowed to share and voice it. And yeah,
Mhm.
it you don't have to love everyone, but you have
No.
to work with them,
Get along,
unfortunately,
yes.
sometimes. But that's
Because
the way
we all need that. We
proper
need that
change
challenge,
is
right?
about. And you get
Yeah.
all perspectives, and you make sure you see every side of the
The
problem
coin.
or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, every side of the coin, exactly.
Yes. And I feel like when it comes to politics, I think we should kind of have everyone represented there. We should have the
Yes.
extreme liberals where we see that wokeism where it's like so much progression that things aren't going to actually exist anymore because it's just melded into one. And then you have the like, where I would say like more liberals, but they're more like, centrists at the same time. And you have people that are
Center
kind of like,
liberal, yeah.
I am not into any politics. I'm just kind of independent on my own to the like people that are more, conservative leaning to
Center
the
right.
like yeah, to the like so far right that like you're off the planet because it's flat.
You
I'm
need the
just
whole
kidding, relax.
spectrum for
But
sure,
you
though.
do, and you need all those people to show up there. And not only that, but respect each other and have conversations about that. So this is why I think it's important that people do go out and they do fight for. I don't
Yeah.
ever hate anybody for voting for a different party or thinking a different way by any means. I think it's great when we can come to the table and say, this is what's good about the party that we don't like, and this is what we're going to hold them accountable for. And
Hmm.
yeah, it is all evil out there, but how we don't have the ability to change it fully right now. Let's what you're saying to Hales, like let's start at
It
a
starts
local
small.
level, school
Yeah.
boards, trustee boards. Like I don't have kids, so school board would kind of be weird for me, but I am
But
starting to
still,
look at local stuff
political
and
boards,
political boards, like and
all of
even
it.
if we're not going to be a part of it, knowing when elections are and being ahead of the game and actually researching the people that you want to, right? So in this segment and this one for myself, we're going to go back and forth here with Hales, but I want to talk about the upcoming elections because for
Hmm.
me, I would know last minute because there's signs everywhere. And then I felt like I was raced to then look at these platforms, even though they're probably all lies, and not have any time to look into anything, their track
Hmm.
record, who these people are, just vote for what I felt was good or, what I thought was good, especially
The
being in
you
Alberta.
get
It was
like the
like conservative.
surface, the face value of what it is.
Yes,
You don't get to go deeper and figure out who they actually are as a
exactly.
like candidate. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So then you like kind of always wonder like where am I getting this basis from? Am I doing this
Hmm.
properly? So let's just start with the federal election because I think that is the one that most of us, are really interested in knowing. And of course, fuck Beg could call this, I'm pretty sure at any time that he wants to. This is something I want to dive deeper in down the road is like how does our electoral system actually work? But I want to get there
Yeah,
closer down to the road. This I just want to kind of give people flags and dates that when it comes to your federal, provincial, and
you're aware.
municipal, when is that coming? Exactly. So you have time to look into the individuals that you should be voting or want to vote in for and not
Hmm.
just feel rushed or uninformed or bought by the propaganda that they bring in and fall into the like
Yeah.
days of our lives melodrama. You know what I mean? Like, come on,
The
let's look at facts.
I feel like I don't know if it's just me, but like in the elections recently, I find maybe I'm just noticing it more. The smear campaigns seem to be a little
Yes.
heavier.
Yes. I feel
It's
like we're
not so much
leaning more
about what
American.
good they can do.
Yes.
It's what this person over here is doing, like the Trudeau and Pierre thing. Like they're
I
back and
know. Come
forth.
on,
Like it's just
guys.
kind of like
It's like the House of Commons too. That's
I'm
what you
kind
hear
of
all the
over
time, and
it.
it's like, okay, we're not Trump and Biden. Like, I understand.
Yeah,
Like,
I
no
want to
offense, I
know
love you, Americans, but like
what you can do for us. And
policies.
I do want to know what he's not doing, but it's not the
Yes.
first thing that needs to be said.
No.
Like I just the
It's
smearing
ego.
it's very much like TV show,
Yes.
like
Drama.
drama,
Yeah.
like the
Propaganda.
smear campaigns you see on like the movie The Campaign with Will Ferrell. Like
Yes.
it's
I
just like
fucking love that
we
movie.
do we need that? No. That movie
And
is
everybody needs a
the
funny
epitome
movie.
is
Go watch.
hilarious, but
Oh my
yeah,
god,
the
watch it. It's so good.
definition of
So
funny, but
good. Yes.
that's kind of what like our real life politics is giving right now, and
It
it's like
is. It's very Simpsons vibe. So
yeah.
our next one that's coming up, guys. So we have time. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. So the 45th Canadian federal election will take place on or before the 20th of October, 2025, to elect members of the House of Commons. To the 45th Canadian Parliament. So, currently,
2025? My god.
yeah, I know. And it kind of, if you think it's kind of funny, it's like 5 years before the 2030. Like, I'm not trying to be the conspiracy
That will
theorist
be an
here, but
interesting candidate list for
yes.
sure.
Yes. So for those that don't know how it kind of works in Canada, and I'm not going to be the best at explaining this, but basically there is seats in the House, and certain areas around Canada get you certain seats. And it's, in my opinion, and a lot of people from the West opinion will tell you that we do not believe that it is fair. It is completely stacked for the east side of the country, which is like, if we're not going to get into it, but
Ontario
Alberta is like
specifically.
yeah, Ontario specifically, where it's like Alberta is like the heart of the country, in my opinion. That is where, yes,
Our
Ontario has a lot,
capital.
but to me, yeah, I just feel like Alberta
Oil
is
capital, baby.
the oil capital. It really, has funded a lot of people in Canada. That's just my personal opinion. I know people from Ontario are gonna hate me. But anyway, so you need 300, there's 338 seats in the House of Commons, and you need 170 seats needed for a majority. So I don't know when
Hmm.
the last majority was, but it hasn't been these last couple of times the majority votes. Actually, the Conservatives have won the popular vote, and they continue to be the official opposition, but Trudeau keeps winning, but he's only winning half ass,
It's
in my
crazy though,
opinion.
because like B says, like we in Canada know that once our election, like when we're watching the votes being tallied, as soon as they tally Ontario,
Yeah, we're
that's
done.
when we know who
We're
wins.
done. Yeah. And it's so
Because quite
sad.
honestly, they have like we always it's like we see our polls and like they can
Mhm.
be busy. The last few years we've gone to vote, it hasn't been too bad, but there's been lineups like you can tell it's busy. The news footage that I saw the last election from Ontario, those lineups were like if you want you had to really want to vote to wait in
Yeah.
those lines, like they were
Wow. Right.
hours long, like it was just absolute lunacy. I couldn't even believe it, but Ontario definitely holds the largest swing for our
Yeah.
votes.
The
Like
largest
once
seats. Yep.
like once they've counted Ontario, you're pretty much we know how it's gonna go.
Yes, which sucks because they're 3 hours ahead of us over in BC. So there's some people
Hmm.
getting off work going to vote that are just like, almost like, what's the fucking point? Because, which it's not, but like it is, and it's shitty, and I get it, but it's like we got to keep going, and that's not just
Yeah.
it though. We need to again have people that we know and trust in those positions, starting at those lower levels. That's where we're
Mhm.
seeing the most support coming in community. Let's say like by the wildfires, it's by the communities and the local level of government that has stepped up. It's
Yeah.
not provincial, they pretend, and it's not federal,
Yeah.
they pretend. It's been the local fucking fire chiefs, the local
Hmm.
RCMPs, the local people, and people flying in from around the country to help. It's
Yeah.
not, in my opinion, been the provincial.
But
So,
like I'll
so
say,
good.
but like B said, also because it's Ontario, guess where Trudum lives.
Yeah,
Guess where
exactly.
Trudum's fucking district and fucking home turf is. So that's why
Love it.
we got real fucked,
Real fucked.
and
Real
he has
fucked.
that whole fucking province in his back
Yep.
pocket by the seams of it. It's
Yep.
every oh I love him. We need to revote. He needs to be reelected, and
Oh,
it's just
he's done
like
so good in the
y'all are
pandemic.
so yeah. It's
You're
very
drunk.
much. I
You're
don't know what
cult.
they're putting in that Ontario water, but it's fucking effective. We'll just say that.
Cult juice, guys. It's cult
Yeah.
juice. So far this is what it seems like. The leaders of the party, so obviously we have our Justin Trudeau as the leader of the Liberal Party. He's been the leader since April 14th, 2013. Can we also talk about how that should be illegal? Like, after 10 years, you should not be allowed to be
Hmm.
the at all. Like in the States, it's like 2 terms, right? So 8 years, I believe each term is 4 years. I think that's
Yeah.
right. Sorry,
Yeah.
Americans, if I'm incorrect. But yeah, so 2 terms, that's it. You can't do more than that. I think that's why Obama was only in twice, right?
I
I
feel like
think
that's fair too. I feel like
maybe.
to
Yes.
keep the
And they're
like you're saying
old
the
in the States.
diversity of opinion,
Yep.
and yeah, like unfortunately there has Justin Trudeau is probably one of the younger presidents and
Yes.
prime ministers that have been in
Yes.
North
I
America.
think so.
Like they're always like look at Biden. Biden's fucking
He's
going complete senile
he's
on
like
like
coughing dust at
or
this point. He's
who's
tired
that
of us.
fucking old dude that keeps freezing on the
Bernie
stands? Like why is
Sanders.
it always no that new dude that
Oh.
just like goes like completely
Oh.
blank
I don't
in
know.
like I just it's really weird to see like I feel like 10 years is excessive.
Yes.
Like,
And I
and
think it's
he's
so
also
funny.
done so much damage. The fact that
Yes,
he's been able to continue the full
to do
10 years is just
damage.
like,
It's
explain this to
insane.
me. Like,
Explain this. So explain this isn't rigged. And like, yeah. So he's been leader, like I said, since 2013. Last election, he got 160 seats, you guys. Out of 338, 160. So he was very close to getting the majority, but he didn't. So obviously, the Conservative Party leader, as we mentioned before, is Pierre Poilievre.
mhm.
He just recently became the Conservative leader. I know I personally paid to vote him in September 10th, because honestly, I don't think anybody, as much as like we said, I kind of getting tired of the propaganda. I kind of get it in a sense, because it's like, real estate agents, like, have to do those advertising. So I kind of get it to a degree, but
Yeah.
like you said, I wish it was more focused on what am I going to do for this country? Like, yes, we need to know, but like, let's make sure there's humility in that
He's
always, right?
falling into it a little bit, I
Exactly.
find,
You're
and
being
it's
a little
getting a
Donald
little.
Trump, and I don't really like,
He's
I
also
love
getting
and
the
hate that
GQ
part.
treatment from his team because
Yeah.
the glasses are
He's,
gone, the hair
yeah.
is looking different. Like, they're
Yeah.
definitely pushing him, but as long as it's like I said, the
As
lesser of
long as
two
he
evils, but as
tries.
long as
Yeah.
he does what he says and
Yes.
doesn't further fuck us like Trudeau has, I'm
Exactly.
fine.
And ooh,
It's a start,
vicious
at
today. It's a
least.
very big start. This is the second time since I've been recording that I keep hitting. I need to fix my layout here. But I also do
Then we
believe
got the
too, like, let's vote him in and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
give the motherfucker a chance. Let's see what he does. And if he fucks it up, like, at least we're all paying attention more than we ever have. And I think that's what's important, right? Like,
that's the
you know,
important part.
there is. And then we also have Yves Francois Blanchette, I guess,
Yep.
for Bloc Québécois. He has been the leader since January 17th, 2019. He had 32 seats the last time. It looks about same on average for him. So obviously not a huge contender there, but, obviously still representing Le Québec. So that's
Yes.
good.
Then we got
Let's say I
Trudeau's
don't know.
boyfriend.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. I think he's like almost just as worse, because I think a lot of people think that the NDP is like the Liberal Party and really cares about individuals. But I feel like if you cared about individuals, you wouldn't be saying yes to all this carbon tax. Like, supposedly carbon tax is going up
Yeah.
again, and we should be seeing like 61 cent liter increase at the pumps. Like, you
The
guys, that's
Liberals and
over two
NDP
dollars. What
definitely
the
have their
fuck?
hands in each other's back pockets as they walk
Or
down the
front
street type
pockets,
thing.
or like
Yeah.
in the zipper of the. Anyways,
Yeah. They're
they currently have 25 seats in the house,
less
and why
than
the
the block, and that says a lot.
exactly. And so why are they a coalition? Like, that just bothers me. And then we have
Mhm.
oh, sorry, so Jagmeet Singh, obviously for the NDP. He's been a leader since October 1st, 2017. I again don't know why he's continually the leader when he doesn't seem to be doing great from what I can see. And even just like when you hear about people talk, like, I rarely hear people now say anything about them really.
Good about him or
Yeah, good or
anything.
anything really. Just like he's just kind of
They've been lumped
there.
in with the Liberals almost. Like,
Yeah.
they're
So it's
just
like
not
there's
even
not even,
considered their own at this
yeah, they
point.
don't
Like,
they don't do they even have their own identity. And then there's Elizabeth May. She's the leader of the Green Party since November 19th, 2022. So that's she had two seats. And then unfortunately, Maxime Bernier, the People's, so that's People's Party of Canada,
yeah.
PPC, has been in leadership there September 14th, 2018, and he has zero seats. So I know a lot of people really
Jesus.
love him, and I know he did a lot, quote unquote, but people might hate me for this, but I feel like there was a part of that also was about like taking a chunk of the money there, like seeing that there was people not being represented, let's say the unvax or the freedom community, and like,
Trying to
I don't
jump on
know.
that bandwagon.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people say with Pierre, like, oh well, he didn't say anything, da 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 da. But there's a couple things I want to argue with that. One, we all come to a different part of our journey, right? Our spiritual journey in a sense, and a lot of people were going through theirs through the pandemic and seeing this actually happen. And I think when you're so deep into it too, it is hard to see. Or maybe he's just a fuck. That could be a thing too. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. And then secondly, imagine how hard it was you as individuals, us as podcasters, it was to
Yeah.
speak up in just a safety of our own fucking home on the internet where people don't actually hurt us, and how scary that was. You know how some of you aren't even saying anything still? Yeah, imagine being in the heart of the beast and bringing that up
The
and
public
potentially
eye.
losing everything in the public eye, right? You got to think strategic sometimes when you're trying. I'm not saying that's what's
Yeah.
happening. I'm just saying these are the things that I've, gone back and forth. And he could also be a complete scumbag.
That's where I kind of give Max some props though, because he has been going hard. Like he
He
is like
has.
you and I, where he says some
Yes, he
shit
has.
that not everyone agrees with, and he does
No,
not sugarcoat it.
no, he does
But
not.
I've heard a lot of the same things where like he was bandwagon jumped on, but I've heard people say the same shit about Pierre. It's just kind
Yep.
of you take what it is. But
Yeah.
Maxim definitely does not hold back,
No, and he's
and he
also
is
very
not
much
popular
propaganda.
at
No, and
all.
he but he also has been hating on Pierre a lot as well, and a lot of people are being like,
Which is
again, this isn't
odd
a
because
good
they were
look.
very much on the same like path like
Yep.
during the pandemic support wise, but then they
Yep.
started coming at each other, which I found like why wouldn't you try and like band together like
Yes.
Buddy and Trudeau did,
Yeah,
like Jagmeet
exactly.
and Trudeau? Like I don't
Yeah, and if even
understand
the
like
colors
where they
blend, the
came
blue
at
and
each
purple look
other.
good with the red and
Fucking
orange, you know?
right, but
Right?
it was just kind
Oh.
of odd to see that, but at the same
Yep.
time like that's
You gotta fight, I
politics. Like we
guess. It's
just said,
politics.
you can agree with someone and have the same opinion. That
Mhm.
does not mean you like them or you get
No,
along or you want anything to do
exactly.
with their campaign. So it
No,
is what
and
it
you don't
is.
have
But
to. Yep, totally.
he had
So,
0 seats. That's
0
fucking
seats. That's bad.
a
No offense.
whopping zero.
But I just mean like, when people say wasted vote, I think that's what it is. It's like, let's really get
Hmm.
this liberal NDP out of there. And I'm not saying that I think maybe conservatives are going to be worse, but that's the gamble. It's the risk you take. It's better
Hmm.
to like see the new devil because the devil we know is fucking killing every Canadian out there right
Yeah,
now, right?
I
So,
honestly don't think that a lesser devil is going to be worse than the one we currently have.
no, I really
It would be
don't.
a really hard pill to
Hard time
swallow
in
if it
Canada.
was,
It was, yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of
but
people
we have been
conservatives
going
hold
through
that.
it
Yeah, I
hard.
think conservatives are more vocal in that sense when it comes to policies and that being upheld. Liberals obviously have more of
Yeah.
a like emotional reaction when it comes to like libertarian stuff and like, social justice and stuff. When it comes to actual policy and upholding and understanding the like ins and out of business and corporate, I think conservatives, being that they're more business savvy, are going to be holding that to a lot more of a like to the fire,
Hmm.
because we're done,
Less
right? We're
emotional
done.
side of it, right?
Exactly.
It's more of the
Exactly.
serious business side of
Yeah.
things.
So getting on to quickly, I'm not going to go over the provincial elections or the municipal. I'm just going to give you guys dates so that you can kind of have an idea of when that year's coming. And as things approach, especially when we get closer to some of these provincial elections and stuff,
Sure.
that are getting especially close to us in our homes, we'll definitely be talking about the candidates a little bit more at that point. So provincially, the ones this year, there's only two spots this year, which I find super interesting. One of them, so Manitoba is having their election date October 3rd, 2023. So anybody in Manitoba, you guys do have about a month left to search through
Get
your
informed.
provincial, get informed. I'm not sure. I never hear much about Manitoba, and when it comes to politics, I think I don't. I've never really seen. You hear Saskatchewan's a little bit. Some things we hear about, but I don't hear. I feel like that's the middle child for us.
Yeah.
Like we hear about us three, and then there's like kind of
It's like
Manitoba, and then it's just like
The
Ontario.
Swiss province. They're just kind
Yeah,
of
they're just kind of in
quiet
the
and
middle, I feel, and
neutral
good to
and kind of
everybody. Yeah.
yeah.
Same with Northwest Territories, which is super interesting considering all the fires up there right now. So they're October
Yeah.
3rd, 2023 as well. You guys are going to have a provincial. So where it concerns me and everyone in British Columbia, so we're going to be looking at our provincial election next October, October 19th, 2024. So we have over a year to really, guys, get to know the
Suss
candidates that
everyone
are
out.
lining out, suss everyone out, look, at the deeper levels. What are they into?
Hmm.
What's their LinkedIn say?
Especially what they've done through this whole summer that we've had.
The fires and all of that. Let's really
Hmm.
look and see what did they promise last election and what did they or not deliver on, right?
Yeah.
As well as New Brunswick and Saskatchewan are also looking at October 21st, 2024 provincial elections. So anybody in New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, you guys have another year as well. Then we're looking out to 2025. We've got Nova Scotia, July 15th, 2025. Newfoundland and Labrador, October 14th, 2025. Then there's the federal one, obviously, and as I mentioned, October 20th. None of it is October 27th, 2025. 2025 is a busy election year. And then
Yeah.
Yukon as well is November 3rd, 2025. So that's a big year those are big ass
I think the only
provinces.
ones that you didn't mention were the central ones, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and
Yep. Well, Saskatchewan is October 2024. And then we've
okay.
got 2026 is Ontario and Quebec.
Hmm.
So you're looking at June 4th,
That makes sense.
2026. and Quebec is October 5th. And then you guys, because again, I mean, you guys just voted in Danielle
We
Smith.
just
You
did,
guys
yeah.
in Alberta are looking at May 31st, 2027, and PEI is October 4th, 2027. So, yeah, so really anybody past
Next handful of years
2024,
are,
you're good for net. Well, you're not good. You're stuck in your current situation. But I'd say anybody, BC, New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, especially Manitoba, I'd be looking
yeah.
now. I'm sure you guys are already starting to see the, signs. And for me,
Mhm.
I want to be ahead of it this year. So getting closer to, I'll bring that.
Absolutely.
And let's go quickly over the municipal before, and then we'll jump over to the censorship bill because we need to talk about that. So I'm just going to go over anything that's coming up in 2024. So if you are in Saskatchewan, you are going to be looking at a municipal government vote November 13th, 2024. If you are in Nova Scotia, October 19th, 2024, you'll be looking at a municipal election. There is some parts of the Northwest Territories. For some reason, it depends on where you are, but municipalities will be voting October 21st, 2021. Hamlets, how adorable is that?
2021.
Sorry, 2024. Good catch. Good catch. You're paying
Wow.
attention. You're listening. Just
In
kidding.
the past.
And the Hamlets, you guys are voting December 11th, 2023. So that would be the only one this year. So there are different places in Northwest Territories. And it looks like
Yeah.
because it depends on their location, they have 2 to 3 to 4 year votes, where majority of Canada is sitting at that 4 year municipal election. So there you go, guys. Now you know the dates. Go back and rewind if you want to go find your province, or you just Google it. It's really easy to find. It didn't take me too long.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
get involved, guys. Let's get involved. Let's not bitch about it, and let's actually, for the minimum, at least know who you're wanting to vote for and
Yeah.
why. Not just a quick, like I used to do, and be like, okay, I think that checks off, but never actually
Yeah.
go back and look at the previous years. Like, what are their track records? But
Yeah.
anyways,
Well,
this
and
is
like we
reasons
said,
why.
if you can make a point and if you can find a way to be involved
Mhm.
directly,
Even
not
at the
always,
day of,
it's time
right?
consuming, I get, but like
Yeah.
it's worth it because
Yep.
at least we get competent people in there that you can trust. Then is
Yes.
when we start making big changes and
Yes, and
proper
like I
changes.
would like to be a part of the actual vote day and be in there
Yeah.
watching people put ballots away, see the whole process
See
on
the
that
whole
whole,
process of
and
it.
see it front to back, and be a part of it that way, right? So that the reason why is it important as Canadians? I know a lot of us did not give a fuck. We're like, hey, we're doing good. We're doing good out of all provinces. Yeah, like
We're all
we're
right.
all right. Yeah, all we are not all right, and we're not going in an all right space. And if we don't vote, we don't talk about stuff, this shit happens. So we're gonna talk about censorship bill B, sorry, C18.
C18, baby.
I guess. If you'd like to hear more of this episode and many others, you can catch the full versions on Rumble, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on those notifications. Thank you for stopping by the show today. Until next time.